The first thing that you're going to want to do is come and unscrew the 7 screws that are in this top yellow piece. Then you can just easily just pull it off just like that and set it aside. Next you'll come in and unscrew the handle, and it just pulls apart just like that. It butterflies open. Next you unscrew the one side of the clip, and this thing just comes right up and apart just like that. This is the clip system that pushes your darts up to feed the next one. Before you can get into the next part of the blaster, you're going to have to take this screw, these 2 screws, and this screw out. Also, you're going to have to come in and with a smaller Phillips head screwdriver and take that screw out and that screw. Also, you're going to have to take this washer head screw out to disassemble this piece. I almost forgot to mention that there is one more screw right there in the clip part. You have to take that screw out before you can butterfly the blaster apart. Once you remove this screw from right here, this piece will just come right out. You have to push this forward and pull this up, and it comes out really easy, and you can just set that aside. After you get all that done, you take a flathead screwdriver and butterfly the shell apart. After you butterfly the other half of the shell off, this is what you should have. The easiest way to get the plunger tube out is by taking off this yellow piece, like this, pulling the spring out, then coming up here and pulling the barrel out. And also you pull this piece out, that was right here, and this makes it a lot easier to pull this whole thing out. So that way, now we can work on the air restrictor. You can either come in with a flathead screwdriver, a Dremel, or a drill bit. Once you get the air restrictor drilled up, you're going to want to run it under some water to get all the dust particles out. While you're waiting for the plunger tube breech to dry, come in and remove this piece. Don't lose that spring. You're going to need it. And then come in and remove the catch. Just like that. So that way you can slide this out, and you can put some electrical tape around it to give the spring a little bit more compression. This is what it should look like, where the spring does not go over top of the electrical tape. But what you can also do to get a little bit more power is put an additional spring in this part, because the original spring sits on top of those posts. So if you have a small enough spring, you can just slide it down in like that. And when you put it back together, it'll be like that, and then it will compress and catch. But before you put the blaster back together, I would just slide it in and make sure that it works. Alrighty, next you take 3/4 inch PVC, and you want about an 8.5 piece to go in here. Next, if you have it, take a 3/4 piece of PVC, about 8.5 inches long, so that way it can go inside this. You want it to where it will be about flush in there. Once you electrical tape it in 2 spots, it should fit in nicely and snug, just like this. It may take some pressure to push it down in, but that means it's nice and snug. What you want to do is flip it upside down like this and get it so it's flush right there. So that way it'll be easier to feed darts. You can put some super glue on it to hold it in there better, but you probably won't need it. Next, you'll slide it in and make sure that the breech can still close all the way with that on there. Next, you're going to want to take some super glue or hot glue and cover up this small hole right there, which is the air release hole. While you're waiting for the super glue or hot glue to dry, which if you use super glue it will take a little longer, you come in and add some Teflon tape underneath the O-ring. Make sure you re-lube the seal on the breech so that way you get a better airflow. I like to use silicone grease. Once you re-grease the plunger seal, your seal should be flawless. Now you can start putting the blaster back together. First, you take the breech and slide it back in. Make sure you align this piece up with that block right there. Should look like this when you have it in. Next, you come in and you take the plunger tube, back the plunger tube, and slide it in. That part is easiest. Next, you're going to want to put the catch in. All you do for the catch is you slide it around the plunger tube like that, and you just put the spring in first and then put the other piece in, and then it's nice. Next, you're going to want to take the piece that pushes the catch up. Looks like this. And the spring goes in first. You're going to take it like this, slide it in. Then you're going to want to push that piece in like a downwards motion to get it underneath the lip of the catch. Okay. Now that that's set, you can take your barrel and just slide it back into place. This piece right here goes back in here just like this. You want to line the notch up with the rail that's right there, and it just slides in really easy. Don't forget to put this piece in because it helps guide the darts into the breech. Goes in just like this. While you're putting the blaster back together, this notch right here has to be behind this piece in order for it to work. Before you put this half of the clip back on, you come in and sand away this notch and this notch, which will allow you to put more darts in because that is what is stopping it when it comes down. I'll show you it after I get them sanded down. Now that you have those two notches sanded down, your dart pusher should be able to go down farther. Those two notches stop the dart pusher from going down that extra little bit, which should maybe get about 2 more darts in. I know it will get 1 for sure. Next, you take this piece and you come in, you set it in like this. And then you take it and you go like this. You want to pry this piece back and push the piece down. And then there you go. Now that you grinded down the 2 nubs in the clip lock, your clip can hold 17 darts, and if you chamber one in the blaster, you can have 18 darts ready to fire it for you.
And here's Flamefire. And that is my mod tutorial for the Quick 16. Thanks for watching, guys.